or should the restaurant business really just be a stepping stone? I knew we could get Emma. I knew we could get Emma involved here. Welcome to Cue the Mic. I'm Darren Worth.
And I'm old Randy Twyford.
And
And
Emma.
where's our sidekick?
Well, she's out screwing around.
Oh, boy.
She'll be on in a little bit. But the schedule can't wait for Emma today. She's just going to have to join us. So she doesn't get to be any part of what we want to talk about today. So we probably got 15 minutes we can talk about Emma.
Yeah, but we better not, because she might listen to this and then be all pissed off at us.
Well, no, she's in charge of editing. So if she doesn't like it, she'll just edit it out anyway.
She'll just whack it out. So
she'll just whack it out. She'll pop on here in a little bit. So what's new and exciting?
Sure,
How was your week, Randy?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Had a big catering come in at the last minute, and again, the being able to be flexible and stuff, we were able to cover it and getting everything ready. We're getting ready. Food truck's going out 6 days next week. Going out. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 5 days. So we'll prep
5 days?
tomorrow
Wow.
and get everything together. So, yeah. And on one of those days, we're doing 2 events in one day. We're doing one at noon and then doing another one at 6 o'clock.
Is the weather looking good for you?
Yeah, it is. So thank God. So
Good.
It's supposed to.
We got ours fired up this week.
Rain, but it's supposed to warm. Really?
It's supposed to warm up.
You're going out this week?
We got ours fired up.
You're going out.
We did a little lunch last week on Thursday. Had a really great lunch, actually, and then we went to one of our most popular places on Saturday, up in Slater, Iowa. But it was a little disappointing, and I'm not sure why. I haven't talked to really anybody at the restaurant. I've been in grandkid mode ever since last Thursday, so got the grandkids down in Florida, So there's not much time to do anything. But I haven't quite figured out. I mean, we only did a grand in a couple hours, which isn't bad, but it wasn't what that has produced in the past. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if the weather was crappy. Emma's on. She knew we were. Knew we were going to start talking about it.
I thought we were still recording at 1. But I didn't think you guys were going to start actually recording without me.
Yeah, well, that was the message, Emma. The message is, I'm going to get on. The message was, I'm going to log in so Randy and I can chat. Then you can just pop in with Reddy because.
But we
I've
always
got a pretty strict timeline.
We always take like a 30-minute pregame.
Yeah, well, we have already had that
before I said it was going to be.
We've already had that pregame, so just listen along.
Follow along.
This sucks. It's fine. At least I'm here.
It's fine. It's episode 51, by the way, which we didn't say, Randy.
No, oops. Screwed up. So.
It's fine.
Whatever.
We were just talking about our. We were just talking about our weeks, Emma. How was your week?
Oh, my week was pretty good. I got to go to Smokey D's this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have any bitches to do about any complaints?
Here comes the review.
No.
What'd you eat?
I had the brisket tacos. They're my favorite. And then we had a tenderloin in the group. We had a lot of turkey, chicken, ham. Everything was good. And then I had a jarfeh. The brownie jarfeh.
How'd you like that jarfeh?
I hate to give Darren credit for that, but he might have been onto something. That's pretty good. And it was, I brought it home and it was good I think I waited like a day or two and it was even better. Cause like the brownies and the caramel kind of like soaked in to the pudding and it was delicious. So
yeah, I think we got key lime coming out key lime. I'm not sure if it was out, but I told him to put key lime out and play it there. But yeah, I think there's a reason that I got the patent or the lawyer working on the trademark. We've got our application submitted.
Yeah.
So now we just have to wait 9
Patent
months
pending.
before I open
Right.
the Jarfei store. I may put a Jarfei food truck. Here, just tell me what you want in your Jarfei, and I'll put it on. Or would you like one of our standards grab and go? Yeah.
And
I
I
think
don't
that's a
know why I
brilliant
thought it was
idea.
ice cream, but the pudding is a
It's
move.
not
I don't
ice.
even normally like pudding, but it was, yeah.
I
It was
think a
delicious.
food truck with that would be a great idea, Darren. I mean,
Yeah, it
now
really
there's
would be.
places
Wow.
that do these hand pies and this, just
And it was,
certain kind
yeah,
of
it was
dessert.
so refreshing. It was so good. It was so good. I
you have
got
the
one,
big
and
one?
then the
Did
rest
you
of the
have the
table was
big one?
like, oh, wow.
Did you have the
No,
big one?
I just had a little one. I just had the little one. Which is still a plenty. So,
Yeah, we're selling it. We're
Yeah,
selling
it
the
was-
crap out of them. We are selling. They're like
was just getting
calling me
ready to
this
ask
morning.
you.
Hey, where's the lids for the Jarfeis? We need lids. We need lids. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm ordering like.
You need to get 'em on your menu
500s. I'm trying to stay ahead. I mean, I ordered 500 small jars and 400 big jars, and that's only lasted me 2 weeks. I mean, we are
Wow.
selling the ultimate
Yeah.
shit. Now, the profit margin is not the greatest on them, but it's an incremental sale. People aren't just coming to the front door just to that. So I really don't care. I care about the profit margin, but I don't care about the profit margin. Just for that reason. It's an incremental, somebody's getting a sandwich. I made the profit, and now all of a sudden I'm getting a little extra skin off the top.
kind of an add-on sale.
yeah.
She
Yeah,
fell for it. Oh yeah,
it's-
no, we need to get it. We
they're
need to
good.
get them at the food truck. We need to get them on the chicken restaurant. Hell, we're just trying to stay ahead of the damn things.
I'll be
Yeah.
damned.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. I tested a.
Because,
I
yeah, there were
tested
only
a,
three
a
options.
lemon
When I went
curd.
up, there was only 3 left.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, and there were only 3 left. And I was like,
I know.
that's either a really good sign or they're not making very many at a time. But
Oh no, we're making the
Yeah,
shit out of
they're-
them every day.
they're good.
Huh.
They
That's
are good.
Finally hit a home run on something.
And I took the container home. Yeah. I
Is
took
it
the
a
container
glass
home and I
jar
just
you're
washed
putting them
it.
in,
So.
Darren?
No, it's a
Is it a
plastic.
glass
It's almost
jar or-
like it's like a plastic. It's a cosmetic jar, is what it would seem
Yeah.
like your Noxzema would come in, Randy. Your Noxzema that you use for
Yeah.
your face every night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
I
Or
think
your
I'm
sa-
gonna use.
or
I
your
think I'm
salve.
like.
Sad.
I think I'm gonna start
Sad.
using it as because I obviously make my own spicy mayo. I think I'm gonna start making a little bit more at a time, and I'm just gonna put it in there
Yeah, don't put it in.
and get some
don't-
use out of it.
It won't last very good in the dishwasher.
Well,
Just-
I should open my dishwasher and see
The
what it
one
looks like now.
I put. Go get it. Go get it right now, Emma. You have to.
Okay.
You have to go get it.
Okay.
Because the one I put in the dishwasher, I put the extra, but I always throw the extra heat on there. So, yeah, we're going to
Oh,
see what
okay.
this looks like in the old dishwasher, but we don't want to expose
you
that
just
to too
hear
many
it?
people because people see what?
Did you hear just? She just said, "Oh
It's-
shit."
I was hoping that the paper would get wet enough. It is not the same that it looked like. It is pierced. I also put my dishwasher on high, so.
it's not melted.
It's bent.
Oh, it is.
It's the lid will. Oh, had water in it. The lid will go on, and it still closes. So I'm gonna use it. But I've
Okay,
learned.
well,
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
okay,
advise
yeah,
just
that is
stopping
like the
by.
salve.
Yeah, I'd stop by and get another one this
It
week.
doesn't sit flat. I might
Yeah,
have
see,
to.
they
yeah.
just don't make plastic
Might have
jars
to.
like they
Maybe
used
have
to.
my mom stop by.
No.
Have
no,
her buy-
not
I'd
like
have
you
her
could
buy
put
a
Or
a
they just.
big old
I mean,
blob of
dishwashers get
salve
really
in.
hot.
They do get hot, and
But-
that's the first thing I saw. But if you
Yeah.
hand wash that baby, you'll be good.
I even debated it. I was like, do I hand wash this? I was like, I don't want to. I'll just throw it in the dishwasher and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, now you got to go buy another one.
I
See
thought
that?
it's
That's
Darren.
why
It's going to be high
that's
quality. It's going to make it through the dishwasher.
it's Darren trying to figure out how do you not spend 65 cents on a damn jar, right?
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
And so I
No,
actually
it looks
went
like
to that company.
a top.
The biggest problem with that, I mean, I'm ordering 700-800 jars every 2 weeks, is the shipping. It's costing me damn near $300 to ship those jars in. And so I went to the company last week and I said, "Hey, haven't done much shopping around yet, but is there any sort of quantity shipping discount on jars?" And the gals, "Oh yeah, we can give you quality discounts. Just call us. We can lower the price by 10 cents for this jar and 5 cents for this lid, and we can offer pallet shipping, which is going to cut your cost in half." And I'm like, "Okay, that's all I needed to hear." So they're very receptive. So I'll be buying a truckload of them suckers and then trying to figure out where to put them.
And lose
I'll
it.
take
Maybe
any.
if you have them on a pallet, you won't lose them.
Right.
Oh boy, Emma, that's our problem today. Where they called me up or sent me a message saying, "Hey, where are the jar lids?" And I'm like, "They're somewhere," because I order the same exact amount of lids that I order jars, and they are somewhere. Well, we got a case and a half of this jar and a case of this jar, but we don't have any lids at all. Well, you've got a box missing somewhere because it was delivered. And so we're searching all over. So Randy and I, we've been talking about inventory is such a nightmare job. But we're also talking about food costs.
But it's
Randy's
important.
got food cost. Randy's got food cost on his mind today.
Yeah.
The state
Ooh,
of
okay.
California's
So-
got him worried.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Wouldn't be the first time they've done that.
Everything. Well, but you don't have a governor that's just like the one in California. We got
Right.
Pritzker.
He'll follow suit.
Hard
Yep.
telling what he'll do. Yep. So I think everybody has to be kind of halfway where. But the biggest thing is we were talking about is the way food prices have went up, and at what point. When to raise the price? When do you raise prices? I mean, what kind of increase do you
Right.
take? And then it's like, okay, I can't take it anymore. And so that was kind of one of the discussion items was at what point do you get the sharp? But I think Darren, you're about 7,000 times better at this kind of stuff than I am. But when you're figuring out when to raise your prices and stuff, you want to make sure you have a pretty sharp pencil. And got all the bases covered.
Well, yeah, we've run into that problem just recently, because like we may have talked about, I buy brisket points, so I use brisket points both for burnt ends and for sliced brisket because the quality was so much better than buying a brisket flat, right? So I just got sick of, because you can't afford prime briskets. And so we cooked flats. Well, even a choice flat, the quality wasn't anywhere near what it was of a point. So, and used to be able to buy points cheap, right? Until everybody else started cooking burnt ends. And so now the point market, of course, it shot up. And so we saw our last truckload go up $1.50 a pound. Well, that's $3 on the plate.
Yeah.
Per pound. Well, and so what we did was we raised our prices, but we only praised them the price it went up. So where brisket predominantly for us has always been a 40% food cost item. And that's fine. We sell a lot of it, but it's not a low cost because, hey, I'm not going to charge somebody $14 for a brisket sandwich. I'm just not going to do that.
Right.
I'll find a different way or an easier way to do it. So, we've went through that conversation, but I raise the price. Well, now my brisket cost is, it's damn near 50% for a brisket sandwich, and people are like, why are you doing that? Well, because it's what will the market bear? What will the market bear? Because you can't just come out and say, typically if we were to raise prices, were to go up $3 a pound, really in anybody that would do math and food cost would say we need to raise that $9 a pound. $9 a pound.
Right.
There's no way. There's just no way
No.
you would cut off your supply. People would go, oh, I can eat chicken, and they wouldn't do it. So we just raised it. What we got increased, right? And we try to figure out how do we do things easier, right? So I'm not sure there's a right answer on that, when to raise prices. I'm seeing the same with chicken wings again. I've watched them just slowly. Chicken wings used to be $120 a case, and then all of a sudden, they fell off, and we saw them go down to $60 a case, and everything was good. Nobody's prices came down, right? Nobody was doing dollar wings again, but now all of a sudden we've seen it creep up, and then it creeped up a little bit. Normally it creeps up for Super Bowl, and it creeps up and it creeps up, and then it goes right back down. It didn't go down.
Hasn't gone back
and I'm
down.
not sure if it hadn't went back down. Now all of a sudden, we're back up. I think I'll look it up here, but I think we're back at $100 and some a case chicken wings.
Are you really?
I'll tell you right here.
God.
I've got it back up. We are $104, $105, $104.68 on
Holy
chicken wings. So, think about that. Just even the cost of that. I mean, we're back into a chicken wing problem, right? And most people would say, just raise the prices. If they want it, they'll do it. Well, we're a volume-based restaurant, right? I don't want to bastardize my volume, so I'm probably going to take some lumps, right? Now, if you're a small guy, you got to deal with it a lot faster than I have to deal with it. I can take some lumps, right? And then, of course, anytime anything goes up in price, the gals over at the social media company that I use love them to death. But anytime, like brisket, if brisket goes up in price, their next social media post guaranteed is about brisket. Because I didn't say,
about brisket.
Hey, let's promote pork, or let's promote chicken or something else. Let's try and come up with, like if we're going to do a Philly sandwich, let's not do a brisket Philly. Let's do and maybe we can do a brisket Philly. We're talking about doing a brisket Philly, just bringing the portion of brisket down and, mixing it with peppers and onions. And so you still got a great sandwich,
Right.
but it's not just a sandwich full of brisket. And
Don't you do that on the food truck?
Well, I think so. I don't know. That's one of those things investigative.
Oh, I guess we
know
used to.
We used to.
They used to.
We're trying to put that out there with any barbecue meat. Hey, you want a Philly? You want chicken Philly? You want a pork Philly?
Right.
Try that. And maybe we shouldn't even offer a brisket Philly. Maybe a chicken Philly. We talked about
I feel like a
doing that
brisket
at
Philly
chicken
would be one that
restaurants.
people ask about, though.
Yeah.
They will. And that's the problem. I mean, brisket's our number one seller. Burn ends are our number 2 seller. Ribs are our number 3. The most 3 expensive things you can have on the menu. But maybe it's because we offer them for a great deal.
Mm-hmm. And you offer a good
Or because it's so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Those brisket tacos, I was like, God, I missed brisket. I forgot how much I had missed good brisket. I hadn't had it in a long time. And I had those brisket tacos, and I was like, God, no wonder I used to be fat. Stuff used to be so good.
Are you telling me that I need to start fucking up the brisket?
If you don't want to sell it,
No.
I don't know. I'm just
It's
saying,
good, I'm telling
it's
you.
worth it.
Anytime
It's
you
so
can
good.
Anytime you can use that brisket point, there goes a boat. There goes the neighbor's boat going by. Griffin would be out here going crazy.
Well,
yeah.
we spent the last 5 minutes talking about proteins. Brisket, ribs, that. I think we don't spend enough time on the ingredients for side items. And we end up, I'm guilty of it. And then, I've looked at some of my stuff, some of my main ingredients for some of our main side items, and hell, they went up 15 and 20%. You know, now your food provider doesn't tell you that, but when you start looking at invoices and comparing prices of what you've paid in the past to what you pay now, and you know, I can only imagine like potato casserole and mac and cheese and things like that. And especially like from us, we're making our stuff from scratch, so it's easy to lose track of what these ingredients cost, but they all add up. And then when you put them together, it's like holy shit, And there isn't. I've done more caterings this week with macaroni and cheese than I ever have. Normally, and I've done 2.
Hey.
Normally, it's every catering that goes out has our cheesy potato casserole on it. Mm-hmm. And on our food truck, we'll sell 25 to 30% more of that than mac and cheese on the truck.
See, we're exactly the opposite.
So,
and I think it's.
I was going to say.
So Randy, from your mac and cheese standpoint, so you're making your own mac. Are you using my recipe?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's gotten crazy expensive. I mean, and I've said it before, my mac and cheese now gets commercially made. We just couldn't keep up with boiling noodles. We just couldn't do it. But I'm not so sure that it's not cheaper than I'm paying today because it's so heavy cream related. Heavy cream and cheese, that's another market that's went kind of crazy. And it's like, but then I'll sample out some Mrs. Jerry's in a bag mac and cheese, and it's really pretty good. There's a lot of restaurant guys using it. Of course, I went to Mrs. Jerry's and said, hey, I want you to private label. I want to see if we can do this cheaper than I'm doing it today. And they come back and said, yeah, we can, 500,000 pounds. We can give you a private label recipe and whatever. Well, hell, I can get to 100,000 pounds, but I can't get to 500,000.
500?
But they're Mrs. Jerry stuff. I'm not yeah, I know. I'm not so sure that you can't tweak it. I did that math the other day. Is if I went from my current mac and cheese that's made for me to my recipe to switch over to Mrs. Jerry's. That's about a $75,000 a year decision, right? And will people notice? Probably. Or can I tweak the Mrs. Jerry's enough? The problem with all those is they all use mild cheddar cheese, and we don't. We use sharp cheddar and sharp. But you can do things to cheese. Yeah. You can add citric acid to cheddar cheese and make it sharp. That's how they do it in the factory.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes is a little citric acid.
Huh.
So, but it's not like I'm going to sit around with how'd I learn that? Talking with
I said
scientists.
I thought it would be more than that.
No. That's how like a canned cheese sauce, a cheddar cheese to a sharp cheddar cheese, because the sharp cheddar cheese is so much more expensive. But it's quality. I mean, Randy, the can you're using, the can we used or whatever, I mean, it's a great cheese. Yep. It's a great cheese sauce. I mean, the only thing that would make it better would be as if you were making the roux yourself, but it might make it better, but it's not going to make it consistent. You can't get any more consistent than taking a canned cheese sauce and mix it with heavy cream or half and half and put it. You just can't be any more consistent.
Everything else.
So, it comes down to, and then portion size. Every time I go out to a damn restaurant, coleslaw is the number one thing. I go to a restaurant. I don't think I've been served over 3 ounces of coleslaw in the last 6 months. And I order coleslaw out a lot. I like coleslaw. But sometimes it's 3 ounces.
Coleslaw.
Sometimes it might be 4 ounces. But we're still a full 6-ounce portion cup of coleslaw. And it's like, okay, but a lot of people have a lot of leftovers. So do you do that? Do you offer 2 different size sides? Hey, here's a small size, here's a normal side, to try and, hey, you can still get it. I've never been one to cut portions, but at some point something has to give, right, on this cost.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think a fella, including myself, doesn't spend enough time costing out and keeping a sharp eye on your ingredients and stuff that you use for your sides. As of like on the proteins, I mean, okay, I got you beat around the bush with this one and that one on getting your best price on briskets or pork butts or whatever, and
Yeah,
and
Randy,
ribs and stuff. But
I spend 2 mornings a week. 2 mornings out of my week are spent, and we've got an inventory management system that's 3/4 of the way there. But I look at our details. So every time we place an order, and we get 6 trucks a week at Smoky D's, we get a truck a week at the Ornery Chicken Crafty Mac. Every single one of those invoices I read every single day.
Sorry to our listeners. Is he not using his regular internet?
I think we lost.
Well, Randy, it looks like it's just me and you.
Well, we can just discuss.
Was he not using
too.
his? Yeah.
Well,
what was he using? Was he not?
I think he was using his regular internet.
His regular internet's normally a lot better than that. I knew there was going to be problems when I logged on and his upload was 25%.
Yeah, my upload's only at 51%.
Well, that's pretty normal for you.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back.
Anyway, what's up, Randy?
Oh, not too much. It sounds like this Jar Fay thing is a hit.
It is. I'll give him that. I don't. Oh, Darren just texted us. Just lost everything. Well, what an episode. We're getting closer and closer to the 1 year, and we haven't had a solid episode. Something's got to give. But, yeah, those jar fays are real good. You should really try one. It was not at all what I expected it to be. And really? I thought, and because it's Darren, sometimes I think I wondered if he was overhyping it up. So I had to try it for myself. Mm-hmm. And he was not. Good. No, it was good. Yeah, he was onto something there. I'll give him that.
How was your service? How was your service when you went to eat?
It was okay. I mean, it was good. Once we got it was quick to order, but we went at a pretty, random time on a Tuesday, so it wasn't really a line or anything. I feel like it took us a little bit longer to get our food than I thought it would with how busy the restaurant was, but sometimes that just happens, so.
Sure.
He's going to be like, you guys talking bad about me? Hey.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what blew away because I've got my internet is right sitting next to me, and when it goes out, it'll flash. Yeah. Never flashed. I just lost everything. So anyway.
Well, I was telling Randy that your upload percent was 25, so I knew that something was going to happen. I could.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now it says I'm 1%.
Yeah, we'll see how that. It'll probably have to play catch up for a little bit, but you seem a lot better quality wise.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah.
And
so anyway,
on to food costs.
Okay.
But I think a fella needs to keep track of his side items and stuff. Along with that, you spent talking about your jars and inventories and getting them, and now they can get you a better price on shipping and stuff. I think that's another thing people don't keep a close enough eye on is their paper good costs. I went from one supplier to another and ended up saving about $30 a case on plates.
Yeah. It's crazy how much that jumps up and down, and of course I'm a guy, I like to do business locally whenever I can do business.
Sure.
But I mean, I've had straight conversations with our people that just say, hey, I can't do this. I can't pay 30% more for you to stock it. And they understand. I mean, I make them part of the process, but like we've got to move right now. We've always used black 9x9s and stuff at the Ornery Chicken. It just makes the food pop and just makes it look better. And so they said, hey, can we do black at Smoky D's? And I'm like, well, let's look. And we actually order them through Performance Food Group, which is a cheaper option than our white ones, or about the same price. They're all within a penny. But when you think about how many hundreds of thousands of those we use a
I can
year,
only
a penny's a
imagine.
lot, right? So anyway, I went back to them and said, hey, I'd like to move to black. Can you do that? And he came back and he said, yeah, we can do it. Here's our price, but let me go to the manufacturer and see if I can get you a better price based upon quality. Came back and said, nope, they're not budging. I'm like, okay, well, at least you tried, right?
Yeah.
At least you tried. But yeah, it's a gamble. It's almost a full-time job. It's almost a full-time job of analyzing food cost and side dish cost and meat cost. And I mean, it's a game because it's so volatile. And that's the one thing we hate to see is volatility. Not to mention, Randy and I were talking about wages.
Yeah.
We were doing a little math on this $20 an hour California wage increase. And some people have just shuddered and said, done, we're done, close the doors, can't do it. But, people trying to understand, even in a great environment, let's say your wages are not a great environment. Let's say wages normally are 25% of your sales, right?
Of your cost.
So that means for every dollar you sell, a quarter of that, 25 cents goes to wages.
Correct.
Right? So now if wages go from $15 to $20 an hour, that's a 30% increase. In order to stay at that same percentage of food cost, you got to raise your price to $1.33. So you have to go from $1 to $1.33. So everything in the state of California that's food service related goes up 33%. Now, of course, the argument's, nope, they should just take it out of their profits, right? Because that's the answer. The answer is these big corporations are paying their CEOs millions and millions of dollars. Just take it out of their salary. Well, that's not the way the world works. That ain't going to happen. So people in California, they're either going to go out of business or they're going to raise their rates 33%.
Yeah. And be where they were at before. Just to be where they were at before.
Except, and I'm not sure if that passed through or not. Did that pass through? Because it was all fast food restaurants unless they bake their own bread.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the language.
And wasn't there they had to have so many stores?
Yeah. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter whether they had so many stores or not. Because if you've got a mom and pop shop right next to McDonald's and you're both paying each other, the mom and pop shop used to be, McDonald's used to pay them $12 and the mom and pop shop was probably paying them 12 or 13. Now McDonald's went to 15. So mom and pop went to 15. Now, if McDonald's goes to 20, well, the employee's going to go to the 20. They're not going to stay for the 15, but what I don't get about it is it's the minimum you have to pay them. What about the person that's been there for 10 years? Does he get a 33% or she get a 33% rate increase?
I agree with you 100%.
Or do they all make the same amount of money now? And so I'm a person that's been a line cook somewhere for 10 years. What about me?
You're going to get paid the same as that guy that got hired yesterday. That doesn't know jack shit about it.
It's almost like the union mentality, right?
Yeah, unless you break bread.
Unless you break bread.
Bake bread.
Unless you bake bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's just because Subway and Blimpie and all those guys probably lobbied the governor and said, hey, I'll buy you a new yacht or a new house or whatever if you leave us out from making bread.
Panera's.
Oh, was it Panera?
One of his buddies, one of his biggest contributors, owns a chain of Panera's.
Yeah, so I mean, tomorrow they're probably starting the McLoaf, right? They're going to sell McBun. Here, I'll sell you a dozen McDonald's buns. Right? Here's my, and I'm baking my own bread. I'm going to bake a couple loaves a day and sell them.
But yeah, I never really thought of it that way, Darren. But you're exactly right. Where you say, well, the mom and pop restaurant doesn't have to worry about the $20 taking stuff from up to $20. But yes, they do, because you're all working with the same job pool, employee pool, and as you said,
Cool.
they're going to go. I can work over here, and it's a mom and pop, and it's maybe not the factory like McDonald's is, but goddamn, it's $5 more an hour over here at Mickey D's.
So yeah, and I think we've talked about this many moons ago, but the restaurant used to be the part-time job, right? The restaurant
Right.
was designed around being, if I went into a McDonald's 20 years ago, during the day, it might have been a retired person that was in there earning some extra cash, but then after school and on the weekends, it's where the kids were working there, right?
Sure.
Now you still
Sure.
had a manager. You still had a manager there that had to run herd on all of it, but that was the design of that. It was the design of, thing. But I mean, if you're a young kid and you're living in mom's basement and you only work 10 hours a week, should you be making 20 hours a week, or should the restaurant business really just be a stepping stone?
Uh-huh.
I knew we could get Emma involved here because
Okay.
it's a whole different. Randy and I were talking to Emma earlier about how if you look at it just mathematic wise, and you work, and I saw somebody, I watched a TikTok or something last night, but somebody was saying, I make 20 bucks an hour times 40 hours a week times 52. That's only $41,600. Take away taxes, you're only going to make 35,000. So you're 35,000 divided by 12. That's only 2,916 a month. I take away 1,500 bucks for rent, and I take away this much whatever. And hey, I'm broke, right? And I understand you're broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my age and before, in Randy's age, that if you had an apartment, you didn't have an apartment by yourself. You had 4 people in the apartment because that's how you spread expenses.
A lot of people still do that,
Right?
and it's still outrageously expensive. I mean, it
It
brings up
is.
my
But
point. I mean, because I have a dog, and because of just where I was in my life versus other people, I had experienced living with strangers, and I did not. I mean, it wasn't terrible, wasn't the worst experience of my life, but not my favorite.
Yeah.
And all my friends were in a different phase of life. So when I moved back to Des Moines, I had no other real option unless I take a gamble and maybe get a roommate that doesn't suck or just live by myself. Well, when you're trying to, go through the finances, because I did a lot of research on what would be the best option for me, rent in Des Moines was stupid expensive.
Yep.
And on top of that, I had a dog, so that added anywhere from 50 to $100 a month. And because of her size, that could also even add more. So I was looking at rent to be about $1,500, like you said, for
Holy
one
shit.
person, for a
Yeah.
loft, like a studio kind of
Right.
situation.
Wow.
And that was not including paying for parking, paying for my like groceries, paying for a lot of those places you have to pay to wash it. Like I wouldn't have had in like a washer and dryer, so I'd had to pay to do my laundry. Like there's just a lot. Like they rob you essentially. Or I could buy a 2-bedroom 1-bath bungalow. I paid $900 for everything with my house. Granted, like when it comes to some of the things like snow removal or mowing my lawn, like I have to do that, but long term,
Right.
I'm saving a
Right.
bunch of money doing that myself.
Sure you are.
And when, I have some like appliances issues, I'm going to have to pay that. Yeah, that sucks. But it'll get done faster. A lot of times when you have an appliance break in an apartment, sometimes it takes weeks to even hear back from your landlord to get it fixed,
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things of we're like, yeah, I mean, it seems crazy that we're broke, but we are. Like there's just no way around it.
Well, just think about today, Emma. Think
Yeah.
about when you got how long you buy that house? 3 years ago?
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in July.
So what was the interest rate on that house?
Oh fuck, I don't remember. I don't know.
I think it was probably 3.
Yeah, that seems close.
It was 2.5, 3, because we had a
Yeah.
lot of conversations about house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now that rate today,
Yeah.
7.5,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and here's
First-time home
here's the
buyer.
other thing.
You know,
Yeah.
Here's
It's
the other thing.
also
Not
a
to sound
terrible
like
time to
Dave.
buy a house.
Not to
Okay,
sound like
let's hear
Dave
it.
Ramsey. Not to sound like Dave Ramsey.
you look like Dave
But-
Ramsey.
Yeah,
I don't even know
wish
who
I
that
was-
is.
Huh? But anyway,
I
You don't know who
who that
Dave
is.
Ramsey is? You should go to watch Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
yeah. When you take, here's the
I
other
feel
thing,
like I
Emma.
should.
When,
Yeah.
as my dad always said, when you're renting a place, you might as well
Mm-hmm.
just throw that money out the window.
Exactly. Like, obviously, I feel 50-50 on it because, like, I'm leasing a car right now. But it also was pointless for me to buy a car. Either new. I mean, I wouldn't have bought a car new. I couldn't afford a new car. But to buy a car that I would probably have to put a ton of money in eventually because it was old, you know? So it's one of those debates that you're always going to have. It's like, well, yeah, leasing, you're throwing your money away. But also, you don't have to pay to fix it. You don't have to pay. Like, there's like a pros and cons list for everything, right? So
Sure.
it could be
But
one of
you're-
those things of like, yeah, I
But
don't
you're gaining equity in your property,
yeah,
and so
Yeah.
when you get ready
Oh,
to
yeah.
sell it, then
yeah,
you've got something to sell instead
Well-
of just selling receipts. Dave Ramsey.
right. And yeah, well, even my home's value in the last 3 years has gone up a ton. If I sold
Sure,
it
there you
now,
go.
we'd make some money. But
Well, you'd make some money, but then when you went to
Yeah.
reinvest, you'd have
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing that would cost you a lot more. So
Yeah.
it's not like
It's-
you gained.
yeah,
You-
it's one. Yeah, it's
It's
always going to be like
inflationary.
that. Yeah,
It's inflationary.
because the inflation. Yeah, it's all. It's a very. I don't want to. I feel like this is gonna make me sound like a Gen Zer. I feel like it's a very broken system. So there's really no right or wrong answers. But when like I own my home, you know, I still feel broke some weeks, just because of things that come up.
Sure.
Without and I mean I'm doing pretty well for myself, and it's still. We're always gonna feel like we don't have enough money because things are so expensive. Like groceries alone, for one
Crazy.
person, can cost me
Crazy.
if I, if I do it, the way I'm doing it now, where I'm trying to buy off recipes, I'm only doing so many recipes at a time, and that still costs me, $150. And before that, it was like $250, and it's like I feel like I shouldn't even, buy these groceries because they're either they could go to waste because I'm not eating them fast enough, or it's one of those things where like, oh, all of a sudden I don't want that, and instead of I'm not one to like force myself to eat something that I don't want,
Right.
just to eat it. I should probably be, but I'm just not, and so I'm doing the same thing as if I'm leasing a lot. It's like I'm throwing away my money to feed myself because it's all so expensive that you have to buy so many things to cook, and then a lot of it's still going to waste regardless. And so I got in a really bad habit of doing takeout a lot there for a minute, and either it was drive through, DoorDash, all that, because it felt cheaper, and honestly it probably was,
It probably was.
but it was super unhealthy, and it's always gonna be a battle, obviously. And like my parents' first home that they bought when I was like 20 years ago was almost like I think 50 some thousand less than what I just paid or what I bought my house for, and it was like 5 bedrooms, 2 stories, and it's just one of those things where like you can compare it to your time, but it's not the same,
Oh, it's not the same, and that's just trying to understand. Yeah, because
Yeah,
the same time, like when
Yeah.
Sherry and I first got married out of college.
yeah,
Okay, we get married out of college. We both made $15,000 a year. I worked
Yeah.
60 hours a week,
Mhm.
and this is almost like that crawl through a foot of snow. And I loved working 60 hours a week. I
Yeah.
still like working 60 hours a week. But
Yeah.
so I did. Both made $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
I drove a brand new pickup. She drove a brand new car. We
See?
had a house. We had a house that we bought. It was a $40,000 house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we worked our ass off to tear the drywall out and the carpet and pay for it and paycheck by paycheck.
Yeah.
And we always had time to go to happy hour one day a week. Went to the Okoboji
Yeah.
Grill. We always went out to eat one day a week. And then, that's what we did. And we lived just fine, right? We didn't have I didn't have a pot to piss in, but all these different factors, I mean, we won't get political, but what happens is that, interest rates, you print money and inflation comes up and everything's more expensive and it costs more and it costs more and it costs more. And they're like, and it's just a way for saying, hey, what gives here? Right.
Yeah.
Because if you quit giving away money, right, quit giving away, you're shaking your head. I think she's going to vote right.
I think she is too.
I'm not going to, I'm just,
I
I'm
think
just
we've
listening.
I
I'm
think you've
engaging
got her
conversation.
flipped over. I think
I
you've got her
could have
flipped
went
over.
deep in with it, but
First of all, I'm
understanding
in the middle of the road anyway.
I know you are.
Come on, man. Not.
No, but it's one of those things is what gives, because, employees are under stress. We understand people need to make a living, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. But the same people who are trying to make a living are making, they're just spending it all. And not foolishly, just trying to buy groceries because
Like,
trying to get the price of groceries. So it's like keep cyclical thing of like,
right.
Okay,
it's always going to be that
gives here?
constant battle. Yeah, because you could argue, you used to jokingly be like, I pay you too much anyway. And I'm like, do you? I don't know. I'm trying to survive. But it's one of those things where like, you might always be like, is it ever going to be enough? It's like, yeah, eventually, but like, if everything else is going to keep going up, I also have to like be able to afford it. So I need to also get paid to keep up with that, And I know that a lot of it is like, oh, well, if you're doing only so much work, why should I pay you more? And it's like, because it's either that or I'm going to have to cut back working for you to also work for somebody else because I have to afford to live. Like that's the big problem. The big debate is like we have to afford to live. That's why a lot of content creators quit their jobs and they dive into, the social media thing because they're making enough money to afford to live and they're like, "Oh, it's so lazy." And it's like they still have to put in a lot of work, like I've made TikTok videos. That shit's time consuming.
My concern is until that fad dies.
Yeah. Right.
And then finally the companies that are paying the big amounts of money for social influence until they come back and say, I'm not paying that anymore.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden
they won't have a fallback.
Exactly. Now what happens? There's no fallback plan.
Exactly.
So I'm all for somebody with the get and the go. And I think, I've been thinking a lot about productivity pay. Right? Because we're pretty productive, but we have certain places of our thing that we're not productive. So it's kind of hard to single out an employee and saying, you're not, if you want to be on your phone and listen to podcasts while you're working and doing this, whenever you're not very productive instead of cleaning, hey, you make X, but you're willing to bust your ass and run around, then you make Y, so, or certain times of the day. I mean, like we always struggle on Sundays. We always struggle.
Oh, God,
every time. You know what? It always happens. We always make it happen when our labor percentage is 9 and 10% on a Sunday. We always get the job done. Just the same as on a Monday when the labor percentage may be 22 or 25%.
Right.
Right. Which means
I do not.
We're not very productive on a Monday. But we're super ass productive because we're forced to be productive on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So everybody that's working Sunday is working their ass off. But, when it comes to the tip pool, they're probably already making an extra $2 or $3 an hour for doing that. And I'm not so sure that our productivity shouldn't be a productivity based pay going, you want to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5? That's fine. That pays $15 an hour. You want to work Friday, Saturday night and Sunday and be in the middle of hell? That pays $25 an hour.
Where was that when I was doing that?
And then you
Damn.
get the people that say, hey, I want to be lazy. Okay, you work Monday through Friday here, or you want to be the really productive one.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're working, you're working the night shifts when we really need it. And
Right.
I talked a little bit with our managers about this. Should we be just bidding it out? Saying, hey, here's the pay. I need this many people for this time, need this many people for this time, and I need this many people for this time, and here's what it pays. Right? And it's like job, right?
Yeah, but
it's like a, huh?
Wouldn't you worry that the people will be like, okay, yeah, I'll work those days if you bid it out like that, I guess. And then you'll end up with the lazy, or not, I guess I shouldn't say lazy, but the employees that you maybe wouldn't want in those situations.
Well, but if they're not productive, then,
will they not have the option to do it again? You know what I'm saying?
Then they're not going to get that option, right?
Okay.
Because we all understand that you're going to have employees that are more productive than others, right?
Yeah, it's just natural work ethic.
You're going to have right. It's a scale. You got your ones that are running their ass off from the time they get there till the time, and then you get the people that are looking to stay busy when I show up. Or when a manager walks by, we get that. We get that. You can tell if somebody's coming to me going, I've noticed this was wrong or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're trying to show off like you're paying attention to something. Don't worry. I have cameras. I can tell. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's truly, do you want to work or do you not want to work? And I have no problem paying. But I think this whole productivity thing, like we talked about before, we keep coming back to it, Randy on his food truck and whatever. It's like if you can find productivity, you can run that food truck with 2 people. You don't need 4.
Exactly.
Right? If I do it, I don't need 30 people on a Monday when I only get by with 25 people on a Sunday, and my sales are 3 times as much.
Shouldn't have that many people on a Monday anyway.
Well, of course, they always say, hey, we're made from scratch. We need to restock up from the weekend or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but you're selling into Tuesday. So, but catering, catering can be busy and stuff on the weekend, or on the weekdays. I mean, we probably do a lot more in catering through the week than we do on the weekends. But
that makes sense.
It's just an interesting thing. I'm not sure where it goes. I'm not sure until inflation's under control.
Right.
And until prices until we quit printing money and devaluing the dollar.
Yeah.
Until we do that, I'm not sure the answer. I suppose you just become just raise the rates. I mean, the grocery store is crazy expensive.
All the time.
But the raw material cost, you think, why is it? Well, because their transportation costs, because diesel's too expensive.
Yeah.
So that raises a cost. And now all of a sudden you got the price of corn's up, and that's the raw material, the price of flour, and everything that goes into it is way up because the people that are building those plants have to pay more in interest rates because the interest rates are high, and It's a never-ending thing. It's like, where's the Great Reset?
Right.
Where's the Great Reset?
Yeah,
where
it's one of
struggles.
those. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. If you're gonna raise the pay, you're probably gonna have to raise the prices. Like that's just.
But
I think where that is.
But I think we also need to raise the productivity.
Well, yeah, but that's asking a lot.
What?
I don't.
That's
I mean,
my point, Emma.
I'm
exactly my point, Emma.
I'm just saying. I was just kidding. I mean.
No, you weren't kidding.
It's one of those things of where you just can't have all 3. If you could, it'd be the best. It'd be the perfect world, right? But unfortunately, we all know nothing's perfect. So you gotta, I like to think that I am productive. So
productivity is the answer. I used to say all the time, sales takes care of a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Keep growing your sales, keep growing your sales, keep growing your sales. I'm to the point that sales takes care of some of the problems.
Yeah.
But productivity has to take care of the rest.
Yeah, you got to have people that are actually going to do the job.
Yeah. I would agree.
do the job, because there's still too many, and they're
Yeah.
associated with your age group, right?
Oh, I'm
That-
not going to necessarily
that
100%
it's like-
disagree with that.
You know,
Yeah.
when you're on the clock, you're 100% engaged in
Mhm.
me
But
and the
also,
and the company. You're not engaged in anything else. You're not texting your girlfriend. You're not doing this. You're not whatever. You're engaged in me or the company,
okay.
right?
Right.
Or the desire
But a lot
to
of
make
it,
some
I
money.
also think, yeah, but a lot of it is also like, I feel like my generation, I feel like, is efficient in a different way as well. I mean, it might not seem like that. It might seem like we're doing less work, but we're still getting the job done, you know? So, like, I that I maybe didn't word that right, but I can think of ways of where, like,
So you're saying you can get an 8-hour job done in 3 hours, and I'm like,
Probably.
but if you right, but
So then-
you can, right? So
oh, yeah.
why don't
There's-
you? So that means you can do double the amount of work that you do.
All right, but are you going to double my amount of pay?
Why would I? I'm already paying for you.
Right, but if you, I don't know. I can't think of how I want to word the thoughts in my head right now to not make it sound like my generation is lazy as hell. Because we're not. We are maybe a little bit. But, like, we're lazy. But we're, like, lazy. It's not like we're necessarily lazy. I just think it comes back, like, we just have a different work ethic. Like, to you, you think hard work is working 60 hours a week and doing all this. And to me, it's not necessarily that. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those age gap things.
Well, it is, and that's why you're here. That's why we have these discussions, because
Happy to help.
Exactly.
it's part that we have to solve, right? Because we have to navigate this. But
Yeah.
the problem with the restaurant industry, if I was filing medical claims, it would be the greatest thing in the world, because I'd say, hey, you got a quota. I'm going to pay you so much a claim, piecework. I don't care if it takes you 2 hours or 8 hours. Just do this, and you're going to get paid so much per
For
claim,
so many.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you would
Okay.
decide how hard you want to work, whether you want to just bust ass for 8 hours straight, or if you want to work for 3 hours and get half the amount of work done, but it's enough to get by, right? The problem is, at the restaurant, you kind of got to be there because people want to go out to eat. So you have that
Yeah.
thing that says that you have to be present, right? You must be present to win. And that's,
Okay.
and that's our problem. Like with the chicken restaurant, it's very, you could be busy at lunch, but then you don't have anything to do in the afternoon. And then
Right.
we're always busy at dinner time.
Yeah.
So I don't need people in the middle of the afternoon, but they're trying to make a living. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I shift,
Right.
how do I shift production? So, hey, you get done with the chicken. Guess what? Now you're working on a breakfast restaurant. Now you're making sausage every day. Now you're doing this every day through the day. And then all of a sudden the chicken restaurant gets busy again. Or you just deal with part-timers and say, hey, we're going to get by with 2 people during the lunch, and we're going to have 6 people at night
Yeah.
when we really need them for 2 or 3 hours.
Mhm.
So it's just tough to navigate, but the must be present to play in the restaurant business or in the
Yeah.
food truck business or in the catering business, that's that's where the TikTok model doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
It's not, and I know your generation likes that. I don't want to call it the TikTok model, but hey, I want to work when I want to work, that it's convenient for me. You're going to get my time. I want you to pay me, but I want to have a lot of flexibility. Well, in the restaurant business, there's no room for flexibility,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
There's
You're
not maybe there is,
Yeah.
there is, but what's that flexibility? Hey,
Yeah. I think in your industry, in the restaurant industry, it's going to have to be a different approach because, I mean, I have a job like that now, but it's a little more flexible and work when you want to work.
If you can
Yeah.
knock out your work in 2 hours, you knock it out for 2 hours,
Yeah.
you get paid for 8.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you still have to be reachable. You have to be able to do stuff, but yeah. Maybe don't have to be sitting right at my computer for 8 hours,
Right.
But
Right.
There will be times though when I have to do stuff on the weekends or, super late at the night just because something came up and you have to get school stuff happens. So,
Or maybe,
Sure.
or maybe I'm thinking about
Yeah.
this wrong. Maybe I think about the way we do things and the way we make things from scratch.
yeah.
Maybe I think about it wrong. Maybe I should go out and buy all my side dishes so I don't have to produce them. So
shit.
now,
Yeah.
hey, I just need part timers to work from 11 to 1, and I need my managers can handle it throughout the day, and then at 5 o'clock I hire more part timers, and we just
To work
scoop
the
stuff
evening.
out of a bucket,
Yeah.
right? Will anybody notice?
I mean,
Uh,
depends.
They might.
Depends on the quality. Depends on the
Right.
quality.
Like Randy, I want you to order Mrs. Jerry's mac and cheese this week.
Right.
Comes in a bag, 4 bags to a case.
All right.
It is so much cheaper. I want you just to run it. Throw the bags in your CVAP in the bag. Don't even wrap them. Just throw them in and heat them up. Put them on your truck and see if anybody talks about whether you changed your mac and cheese or not.
All
Yeah,
right.
it would be interesting to see. But you don't have to if you don't want to, Randy. Don't make him tell you what to do.
It's just a lot
I've
easier
listened
for
to-
him to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for me to. It's a lot easier for Randy to test drive stuff than it is for me.
Yeah. Booyah,
Well,
but
just as
He's
we-
my test market.
he doesn't
as
have to be
we-
if he doesn't want to be.
If just as we speak, we're recording this on a Sunday afternoon. I've got Megan and Danny Lawless. They're out in the kitchen doing prep work. So they're
Right.
making the mac and cheese and the potato casserole and that. But my point is, they want to make some money. So they know
Yeah.
they've also got regular Monday through Friday jobs, but they're wanting to pick up
Yeah.
some extra money. And so Megan and
See-
Danny,
And I think that goes back to Darren's point. Restaurants used to be a part-time job.
Yeah.
Maybe that is, that's how they're kind of built anyway. Were they ever
Yeah.
really made to be full-time positions? Like even to
Yeah.
today? It's
Yeah.
just one of those
even
things.
though I've always tried to treat it like it was a full time job and offer benefits and all kinds of
Right.
stuff, and maybe that's
Because
where I
for
think
some
about it
people
wrong.
it is.
Maybe that's for some people it is, but
Yeah,
you know,
it has to be. So I don't think
Right.
you're necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any right or wrong answers.
something's got to get better.
I don't know if that ball is in our court.
fall's coming.
Fall is coming.
Yeah.
I don't get that. But yeah.
Okay.
Anywho.
All right.
Good job. I don't know. I feel like
Randy, you go back to Fox News, and the whole world's going to watch Caitlin Clark this afternoon, and
go Hawks.
I'm not
I actually
watching
will
her
not be
because
watching
you
the
said
game.
she's got an attitude.
Yeah, I watched her again one more time. She had a lot less of an attitude. I was,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was much more
think-
impressed.
I think she had, because that was the game that she had that attitude was, she's had it, but I think that was like to an extreme where everyone was like, that can't happen. And
Yeah.
she recognized that. So,
And
and her coach was
we're,
on her about it.
we're on the edge
So.
of the full eclipse down here in Illinois.
Oh,
Ooh.
are you going to have an eclipse? Are you going to have the food truck out during the eclipse?
No, but I wish
Isn't it
I
almost-
could have got in. If I could have got some help, I would have went. There were some places down in southern Illinois that were wanting food trucks, like right in the path, and those places.
Oh,
will be,
I guess it's hell. I can't believe. It only lasts for a few minutes. I cannot believe the amount of people that travel to this thing. They're talking about
Yes.
gas stations run out of gas and all this stuff. I'm like, it's only going to last for 4 or 5 minutes.
a friend of
Haven't
mine.
we also
went-
had one didn't we have one like 5 years ago? I
Well,
guess
when
actually
that-
it would have been, it would have been 6 or 7. I think oh no,
7.
it might even have been 8. 7?
When that
Okay.
one took
I
place-
just graduated college or high school.
when
It's
that
all
one
about
took
marketing.
place, when that one took place, a friend of mine was going down into southern Illinois on Interstate 57, which you know very well. There, 4-lane highway, the whole 10 yards, from Champaign, Illinois down to where it intersects with 24 south of Murphy's DeCoin or Marion.
Yeah.
Bumper to bumper of people trying to get down there to get close to be in the path of it. I did buy a pair of glasses.
Did you buy? I was talking to the old timer next door here in Florida, and you're like, just throw on 2 pairs of sunglasses, going to give you the same protection.
I was at Circle K the other day,
I don't know.
And I bought a pair.
You better make sure they're approved. There's a lot of phony ones. Hate to see it burn your eyes.
My eyes have been looking at
be.
some stuff that they're burned anyway. So
Jesus Christ, we were doing so well.
So well.
I think I had made it almost an entire episode without saying Jesus, and here we are.
Well, I mean, Randy's just trying to support the people that are trying to make a living off of OnlyPants.
Dude,
I mean,
oh Jesus, there it is.
Jesus. There it came again.
Which reminds me, I got a message I got to send Randy.
Okay, that'll be good.
Just thought about it.
Anyway, I don't know. I feel like I just was talking in circles. Don't listen to me. I'm just saying stuff. I feel like, but hopefully somebody learned something from this episode. Maybe.
I'm sure they will.
Maybe that is.
If not, they're used to us just musing around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Fair
That's
enough.
why they subscribe.
I
so.
apologize for whatever was said before I got on, because I'm sure it was maybe bad. Could have
We
been.
didn't talk.
No,
anything bad.
not too
Hell,
much.
we were only on for 2 minutes before you got on.
Wow, so my timing was pretty good. You
Yes,
could have
it
just
was.
waited.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
deal.
we'd waited long enough and got antsy.
I had to put I got a shed. So, sorry. It was a big deal for me. Anyway. Okay, well, that was episode 51 of Cue the Mic. Follow us on social media at Cue the Mic Pod. On pretty much everything.
Oh, hey, whoa,
And
whoa,
then,
whoa.
what?
People need to go out to Twyford Barbecue Facebook page or Instagram page and see the TV segment I did last week.
Okay,
Got to talk
yeah.
about that. I did a
Do
cooking
that.
on how to cook pork steak, and it's on Facebook. It's even on our Twyford Barbecue YouTube channel, which,
Okay.
God
I'll share
damn,
it.
I was fat in some of that stuff.
I watch it. You know, I watched it last night, Randy. There's
Yeah,
only one
that's
thing the only thing one bothered me about it.
What's
you didn't
that?
cuss.
Yeah, people were saying that. They were going, "Hey, we didn't see any cussing. We ain't watching this." No, you had this pair of gloves on, and you're seasoning a pork chop with Sweet Lips over there at the news station, and then you pick
Right.
up the cooked meat with the same set of gloves on.
That was just a sample.
That's not good.
Just a sample.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, Randy, change your gloves. Change it." He's not changing his gloves.
Your
Nope,
gloves.
he didn't change his gloves.
They
That's
kind
all
of
right.
got a little.
Don't
They
even
kind of got a little pushy on me. They're like, okay, you got 4.5 minutes. Well, I was
4.5
watching the
minutes was
clock.
more than you thought.
Yeah, and I was
thought
watching
you were
the
only gonna get
clock,
3.
and I thought I had longer. And then she started doing that. Okay, now, okay, and
Yeah,
And you just
yep,
kept talking.
push along. I hate
and
it.
she's
I
kind of
hate
like,
that.
all right, shut the fuck up. We're done.
Shut the fuck up. Pork steak done. Yep.
Yep.
Well, I'll share that.
Take a look at it. Take
on
a
our
look at it.
socials as well.
Thank
Take
you.
Yeah.
a look. Make
And
Randy a YouTube star.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and then go watch our videos after that on YouTube at Cue the Mic Podcast. Subscribe to our channel. Like our videos. Do all the things. Anyway,
12 things.
episode 51. Good job, guys.
Randy.
Done.
There it is.
Finished. Out of there.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah, you didn't say
Wow.
boom. There goes my
Wow.
Boom.
eardrums.
We're out of
All
here.
right, we'll see you guys next week.